Hey everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, and I have in front of me the December DungeonSwag box assembled. I did not do the best job assembling it, but it's sturdy. I was rushing because I was trying to do something else at the same time. But I got it assembled, and this is him base coated in black and brushed with a white. And we can see all the detail that we want to work on and get started. So, first thing we want to do is we want to figure out what colors we're going to use. Obviously, the woods are going to be brown, and the metals are going to be metal. For flesh, since you got a ton of options, I think I'm going to do a flesh tone on this guy. But it's going to be like a fantasy flesh tone, I'm thinking. Yeah. So I'm going to start with a reddish brown color. This is called Chocolate Bar, and I kind of like to use good paints on this, but we'll use these. We'll use the craft paints. So I might not be able to paint him all up in one video, if we're going to be honest. So what we'll do is I'll try to do it in like reasonable steps. So if you're going to follow along, I don't know if you purchase this guy, he's not on the store. So if you didn't have the subscription, you might not be getting him, but we have talked about putting him on the store, and we haven't come to a decision yet. It's very expensive to print this guy with our resin that we use. Very, very expensive to print this guy because he's big. So even though there's these stones sticking up all like growing out of him and stuff, I'm going to hit all those stones with this too, because I want to make sure I get all the skin covered. I'm not going to focus on the parts that are sticking up, but, you know, if that's the best way to get it, the flesh underneath, that's what I'm going to do. I used this miniature for Giant. I printed an enormous version of this for Giant when I did the Giant entry in the Monster Manual, if you watched that. But this is one of my favorite prints we have. So, yeah, it's probably going to make its way onto the store as an individual sale, or maybe as part of a box set. I don't know yet. We're really kind of going in we're realizing that we need to increase our inventory. You know, we've got some feedback from some friends and subscribers and stuff. So, you know, we're talking about how we can do this stuff and keep the prices down. The big thing is we don't want to do anything that makes things too expensive for anybody. The goal of DungeonSwag was to be able to have everyone be able to afford to have good miniatures on their table. So to find price points to make this stuff work is very difficult sometimes, and we have some back and forths about it. And right now, it's just, I don't think it's going to be able to be on the catalog at the exact moment in time for a good price, so we could find some way to decrease it. But it pretty much fills up one of our small boxes, and you know, that's $5 in shipping right there. And then it's a lot of resin. This is like more resin than 5 or 6 miniatures. Well, this is like more resin, and it's hollow actually, but even being hollow, it's so much resin to print that we can't like push the price low enough to where it's not, just doesn't feel too expensive, you know. And I don't want to bore you guys with the details about that, but that's the reality of it, is that if we put stuff on the store, you know, we want it to be where people can afford it, and we don't want to have ridiculous shit on there. And though this is a really good sculpt, we'd like to find a way to offer it cheaper. So if we can make it part of a set or something down the road, that'd probably be the direction we'd want to head with that. You have to understand, both the Scorbic and I we're just dudes in our basement. We're not businessmen, you know. I mean, our regular jobs have some business aspects to them, but we in general are not businessmen. So we make all these decisions as a team. And even though he's a little more savvy with that stuff than I am, I also do realize, you know, we're human beings that can't afford everything we want. And I try to keep the prices down, and I know he does. He's real concerned about that kind of stuff. I really, really, really wanted to wait to paint this, but I get these early, so I should probably paint these like as soon as I get them, so you kind of have an idea what's coming in your boxes. Yes, I know it's a surprise format. I understand that, but some people don't want to be surprised. Some people, they want to see what they're getting. And this is a way that we can easily show people what's coming. Now, if I get a little bit of the brown in places where it's not supposed to be, since we're going to be coming back and painting all this again, it's not going to kill me. So on this step, I have some room to fail, some room to mess up and to rush a little bit, and that's okay. We'll come back and fix it later. Now, as we get more into the details and stuff, that luxury will go away and it'll go to, careful time painting. Okay. Let's take a look and see if we got all that flesh. Missed a spot there. Get in that corner a little bit. All right, we can go on to the hands now. If you haven't tried out a DungeonSwag Mini yet, hey, you know what? We have a deal on there. We give out several freebies a month. You can go on there and click on that and then go to our Discord and get a discount code. And you can get a free miniature sent to you. That includes shipping and everything. It's all free. You don't pay for a penny of it. And Squarework will pick one out of the random minis we have extra leftovers from overprints or stuff like that. Or however I don't even know how we end up with extras. But we do. And he will send one to you. And you can paint it up and enjoy it on your tabletop at no cost. If you've tried us before, you already know what's up. We make beautiful miniatures at the fairest price point that we can hit, competing against monsters that have a lot more money in backing and sponsorships. We're just guys, we don't have any of that. But we don't care. We don't want that. I think we all kind of agreed from the start. Well, he and I agreed from the start. This wasn't about anything but seeing if we could do it. Seeing if we could put good miniatures on somebody's table for cheap. And we can. We've proved that for a couple years now. We don't advertise. We've tried it. It didn't yield much. So we go by word of mouth. Like old school businesses. And on top of going by word of mouth, the YouTube channel, obviously, I promote my own product on here, even though that's not what my channel is. It's not a DungeonSwag channel. But I do promote our product on here, because I'd be an idiot not to. All right. And the truth is, I hate to say it, but it's pretty much the truth. As long as DungeonSwag breaks even, I just don't care, man. It was never about getting rich for me. It'd be nice if we got rich from it, but as long as we're breaking even and people are getting good minis on their table, that's really kind of... For those of you that have been watching me for a while, you've kind of seen how I am. I just have this, worldview that, making money is good and capitalism is amazing, but we also have to sometimes do things for other reasons. If we do everything we do just to make money, or just to get ahead, or just to succeed, and we stop doing things just to be awesome to the world, or to be awesome to other people, or to be awesome to our friends and loved ones, being awesome to each other is an important part that can't go away. And if you do everything based off of greed, everything in your life is greed, I don't think you have a lot of fulfillment there. I don't know, because pretty much since I came back from the war, I've had a lot of opinions on it, on greed and how people act and how it's affecting our planet and the people on it. And I would not say that I'm an expert on anything, really. Let me move this camera a little bit, because where I'm leaning, it's not getting that. But, I do know one thing. Nobody's a true capitalist, and nobody's a true socialist. Those are two socioeconomic platforms that cannot be absolute. And when I'm talking to young people about this, I have a little silly game I like to play with them. And I think I might have talked about this on videos before. But let's say whoever you are watching right now, whether you be man, woman, child, or some other variation of human being, whatever it is. We're all sitting in the backyard, the two of us, three of us, however many are there, and we invent the cure for cancer. Well, there's a simple question. Who does that belong to? All right, well, if you say it belongs to us, well, then you couldn't be a socialist because it belongs to everyone. If you were a socialist, the government would take control of it to make sure everybody got it. And if you say we own it, then that's the more capitalist answer. But it goes further than that. You didn't just solve whether or not you're a capitalist or you're a socialist with that one question. And this is why I say there are very few people, if any at all, that are truly one or the other. The next question is this. We have the cure for cancer, and we've decided we're going to sell each dose for $10 million. So most people will just simply not be able to get it. Well, that's absolutely horrifying. How poor people and people that aren't millionaires get this medication? They won't. Now, if you say, too bad, I guess they just can't have it. The government should not get involved. No one should get involved. It's your product. You sell it for whatever you want. Screw everybody. If that's the answer, you probably tend to be more capitalist. If you say, we have to find a way with coupons or some kind of government help or whatever it takes to make this work, that this can be accessible to everyone. Well, that's going to be more of a socialist deal. So no one, like I said, is 100% capitalist, 100% socialist, because there's a million questions and a million situations that could arise where you're not pure one thing or the other. And that's true in many, oh shit, that's not skin. That's true in many aspects in life. So keep that in mind. There are a lot of moral gray areas that we don't talk about because we're taught that morality is a black and white thing. But nothing is truly black and white that much. There are exceptions, but most things I would say, yeah, are not truly black or white. There are some other options in the mix, some fair middle ground points that can be used to solve those problems. You know, there's a comedian, Daniel Tosh, who sometimes he's funny and sometimes he's not, but he has a valid point. He says there's no excuse for domestic violence. You should never beat your spouse. But what if you come home and your spouse is already drowned 2 of your kids and is in the middle of drowning the third one? Well, couldn't stop them. Sorry, there's no excuse for domestic violence. You know what I mean? There's exceptions to everything. That's the point I'm making. So, that's not skin either. Oh, damn you, Chris. All right. I think we got most of the skin covered. At least the most that I can see and get to. All right, so let's pull this off and let's put this paint away. I'm going to rinse that brush out. So yes, making money would be good, and we don't want to not make money. But the intent is not to scour the world for every penny they have loose to buy our products. And then we reap those benefits, and everyone else is just like, oh, that was not the intent. The intent was to get, because this started towards the end of the pandemic. The intent was to, I couldn't afford good miniatures, and even though Scorpic had a little more money than I did, you know, you look at Warhammer and you look at D&D minis and some of the stuff that's not even painted and how much it costs. Our goal was to help people like me who had nothing and was making miniatures out of used hero clicks to be able to get some stuff going. That was the plan. All right, so I'm going to get this chestnut color here. And then before I start the real flesh tone, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get another soft makeup brush from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to wipe a lot of that off. Like that. And then I'm going to come through here. Oh, that was too much paint on there. And I'm going to try to lighten this up and give it some variation in my undercoat so that there's different tones when we come back and painted them all up. And what happened there is I had way too much paint on my brush, and I'm going to regret that later. But we'll see. Maybe we can make that work to our advantage. Maybe we can't. Sometimes those little mistakes like that end up working out for the best, and sometimes they become a pain in the ass. I'm aiming for working out for the best on this one is what I call Plan A. I need to get some hot air on this dude and come back through here with this color again and try to make it a little more even. Fix some of the parts that are not perfect. So let me just finish up this coat here. Then I'll air gun him and we'll do it again. Get a little bit of paint. I have way too much on here. Again, like a dumbass. Okay. Let's lighten up the hands a little bit more. Get some of the bigger muscles that are showing. Nice. I just want to appreciate, for those of you that are coming back and have been here before, I want to tell you how much I appreciate that you've come back and spent some time with me and listened to me ramble, because it's a big deal. You know, there's so much good content out there, and we were talking about it on Discord yesterday. You know, I don't edit my stuff. I'm not a high production quality dude. I don't. I'm not sponsored. I'm just like a guy in my basement painting minis and having fun. And though I do have DungeonSwag, obviously, it's not like a driving force in my life. It's a side hobby thing, kind of like this. Obviously, that does generate a little bit of revenue. I don't take anything out of the company. Neither does Scorbic. I did not paint any of the back of his neck there. I have to come back with that brown. And hit that. I don't know how I missed that. Missed all that. I don't know what the hell I was doing. Okay, no problem. We'll get it now. We'll get in there. And then I think his hood ends right there. Get in there too. I'm going to hit that rope a little bit since it's kind of in that whole zone. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how I missed that. I just missed it. It happens. I missed this whole section down here on his back too. I noticed that when I was dry brushing. I was going to try to make that work otherwise, but I really want all the flesh to have that undertone. Okay. So I'm mostly ready for the holidays. We got Mrs. Doom and I went out and about Sunday. And we got to, while we were out, we got to take my second oldest and his amazing young girlfriend out with us and have a nice lunch. It was really, really nice. We had a good time, I hope. It seemed like we all had a nice time. So that was a nice little secret blessing I hadn't planned on exactly. That worked out nice. You know, anytime I get to spend time with the older boys and they can make time, and, you know, they always come to game night, but I'm talking about, you know, outside of that. Where, you know, we don't have the little kids and we can talk about whatever, and it's actually just a nice time for me. I appreciate that. You know, usually it's everyone in the family together and we can't talk about things. I can't ask the questions and be nosy about the stuff. You know, asking rumors if there might be marriages and grandchildren in my future. That kind of stuff that I want to talk about that no one really wants to ever talk about. But that's a big deal to me. I want to have grandchildren before I'm too old to enjoy them. I had my second set of children with my second wife when I was just too old to really be crawling around on the ground and stuff as much as I did with the first batch of my older boys. It really bothers me, and I worried that I won't be able to do fun stuff with my grandkids if they wait till I'm too old. So I had my first batch starting when I was 20. I had all the energy in the world. I could still play every sport and do everything I wanted to do with them. You know, teach them soccer, teach them baseball, you know, just football, whatever. You know, I never really played basketball much, but you know, it's fun enough to play. But I never really played it. But you know, on a team, you know, a real team. I played on like pickup games. But yeah, so I got that opportunity to just go to lunch with them as adults, and they enjoyed that, and we enjoyed that. That was nice, and it's always nice to buy your kids a dinner or lunch somewhere. It feels nice to do that. All right, so that color, we're pretty much done with it. Now we're going to start hiding some of the orange. I'm going to use this color called Coffee Latte. And I'm leaving whatever orange I had in that brush in there. And then I'm just going to mix this in. Like that. And we're lightly hit. I don't know if I want to go down to flesh tone. I'm kind of digging this. I don't know. I feel like we should do flesh tone, though. I don't know. I mean, he's a fantastic creature. Fantasy creature, you know what I mean? He doesn't have to be any kind of special tone. I do kind of like this. I don't know how easy that'd be to work with on that on his rock parts with this basic color going. Let's get a little bit more of that and try that again. If we try it again and it doesn't work, we'll know we got to go all the way down to flesh tone. But how it looks right now, I'm actually pretty happy with that. Use a flesh tone on that, and I bet you get an amazing result. What do you think? Had to go a little lighter. All right, let's get a little flesh tone going then, maybe. I'm not sure if I want to, though. All right, so for my flesh tone, what I'm going to do is I'm not cleaning that brush out. I'm going to get this Sun-Kissed Peach color. That would look really good with a flesh wash on it. I'm sure it would. I don't have to go light all the way, though. I can just kind of stop here with my lightness and not go overboard, I think. Yeah, I kind of like it like that, too. Yeah, we're not going to go all the way light. We're going to stop at this right here. This basic kind of just, there's some pink to me flesh tone. And we're going to call that a win, okay? I don't want to go beyond that if I don't have to with this guy. Because he is a fantasy miniature and he doesn't have to look just like a perfect ogre or anything. He can look how I want him to. Because I do like that. I think that's going to have a nice look. Let's get back in there a little bit. Lighten that up, let dark spots a little bit. I've got a piece of brush there. There we go. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Put that away. And let's start looking at some of the stuff we can pick out. We'll do metals last. So let's start doing some of the leathers. So the first thing I'm going to do for leathers is I'm going to get this melted chocolate in my size 1 starter brush. Where is it? Oh, there it is. And I think I'm going to get a little bit of water here. We're going to thin that up just a little bit. And then let's come across here and just start picking out this leather real careful. Like, we don't want to go overboard. We don't want to make this too much of a thing. Remember, you don't need absolute perfection. You don't need to hit every square inch or millimeter or whatever. Just keep your brush moist and put some paint on it. way too much water. Let's get up under there. We're going to use all the natural shading that existed under it to be kind of part of this paint job, you know. We've already got some work that we did from other parts. We're just going to let that transition into this portion. It's going to give us some different tones. It's going to make the shading look a little different. We're just going to steal that and keep that for, you know, for us. Make our paint job a little more original and different. A little more water. See that? Just take our time. Then when that dries, it's going to have a unique look. And then maybe one step down from there will get us where we want to go. Oh, little boys are in trouble with Mrs. Doom. I made dinner tonight, and I made, I don't know if you guys know what dippy eggs are, and dippy eggs in toast or eggy in a basket, or, you know, but basically you butter bread on both sides, and you get a cup and cut a hole in it, and then you cook the little hole part you cut out, and you cook the buttered bread with an egg in the center of the hole, and it's pretty cool. It's one of my favorite things when I was little, and I've always made it for, well, for all the boys. Now, Mrs. Doom doesn't care for those. That's not her favorite. She likes American cheese omelets. So that's what I made her. And then little Sammy, who is 7, he's still having trouble trying stuff. So I made his first one with like a fried egg in the middle. And he didn't really like that so much. Then I kind of like the second one, I scrambled it because he'll eat scrambled eggs. He trusts those. They're on his list of things he can eat. So, okay. All right. Sweet. That's gonna look all right. What do you guys think? Think it's gonna look all right? I hope it does. Now remember, you don't have to get any perfection here. You don't have to get it all the way out to the edges or anything when you're doing this part. You can just kind of paint it in the lines the best you can. And as you come back and do some other layers of dry brush and stuff, and just like some variation, you can clean up and make it look the way you want it to look. So see how I'm just kind of dragging it along in the lines and not going all the way out to the edge? There's some natural dry brushing there that's a lighter tone that came from the flesh work. And as long as you, in the end, make a variation there, whether you do it with outline or just with more dry brushing, you'll be okay. So under here, that's like a piece of leather too. Let's get this strap done. Missing tons of spots there, see that? That's okay, it's gonna look okay. Be a lazy painter today. God, I love this miniature. It's got a lot of detail. Okay. Step one instead of but say bum. So I really want to go see Evil Dead the musical. I don't know if it's going to be good or dumb, but part of me just feels like I'm missing out on something amazing. And I know it doesn't have Bruce Campbell in it, and it wasn't directed by Sam Raimi. I understand that, but man, it looks cool. I don't know what it is about that concept, We were trying to cram all the madness of the Evil Dead into a musical, but it just seems like an amazing thing to me. And I'm not a big musical guy. I always thought musicals were kind of boring and lame. And then I went and saw my baby cousin, who's 18 now. But last year I watched him do. He was LeFou in what the hell is that called? Beauty and the Beast. And it was such a nice time. I took the little boys and we went to support their cousin, my cousin. And we had a nice time, and it was really fun, and I enjoyed it, and it wasn't like terrible. And the performance was a bunch of high school kids, and they just did an amazing, they put so much heart into it. And it really changed the way I felt about musicals and plays and stuff, because I always kind of hated that shit. I was like, oh, God, really? Do we have to do this? But when I saw how much fun they were having and how much they put into it, I was like, holy crap, man. These kids are having the time of their life, and I get to watch this. This is crazy, My older boys weren't really into that stuff. Man, number 2 was, my second oldest was a little bit, but he didn't really stick with stuff. And maybe we didn't encourage that kind of stuff because I didn't know it could be great. I thought it was just kind of annoying, and I didn't tell him that, but I just didn't go, oh, you should do this more. I just kind of said, oh, do whatever you want, and we'll drive you and pay for it. But, yeah, I really wish I had maybe focused on that more. So now when I see stuff like that Evil Dead the Musical, I'm really interested in it. But, Mrs. Doom doesn't want to go see that kind of stuff, and the tickets are actually stupid expensive for it, so it better be really damn good for what they're charging for these tickets. I mean, I imagine there's a fair amount of production value that comes with doing something that intense. I don't really know. I'm just guessing. Let's get a little more water. Where are we at on time? Okay, we're about at that point. So we're going to finish up the leather parts, and then we're going to call this a win for now. We'll come back and we'll probably start on wood next. Hell, if I had done this in speed paints, it would have already been done. There is a rumor that I did get a giant new Army Painter speed paint set for Christmas. It's a rumor. I have been pretty good this year. So I would not be surprised if Santa brought me something pretty good. And if that were on the list of things I got, I would not be surprised at all. But I did get the new big set of Army Painter speed paints, is what I'm told by a little birdie who was not supposed to tell me. That being said, I'll be doing a lot of speed painting. I mean, I have a lot of speed paints, but I do like those a lot, other speed paints. I'm a big fan. So I think we got all the leather except for the strap down here on the leg. I still have too much water here. So we're just going to take our time and hit that real quick. I'm going to come back in some of these spots that I just want to darken up a little bit. Nothing too significant. And then we're going to dry this off. We still have like a couple minutes here. I think we can push 40 minutes without killing anybody. The headpiece, that has to be leather. I don't want to do a super intense job on this though. Oh, I did not tell them a story. She needs to give me a few minutes to get caught up with what I'm doing here. And I'll go tell them a story. Uh-oh. It's my 8-year-old getting yelled at by name. He just wants a story. There's like a certain difference in the way that we react to stuff. She kind of yells and screams, and I kind of call him to come to me, and I kind of hold him by the arms or shoulders, and I look him in the eyes, and I talk to him and tell them how their behavior comes across and ask why they're doing it. And they absolutely hate my way. They'd rather get beaten or screamed at or anything else than have to talk, have to rationalize what's going on. They hate that with a passion. My mom said I was the same way, that I would scream, please beat me, just don't talk to me. So, I'm going to do this as a leather thing too back here, but I'm not going to water this down a whole lot. I'm going to do this pretty thick, because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry brush that down to like a wicker, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. But for now, I'm not going to water that down. I'm just going to use some dark brown or medium brown paint and coat that up. And then I'm going to get up in this little crack where I have some white showing that I missed. If there's any white showing anywhere, just hit it with brown. It'll be okay. Okay. So that's where I'm going to stop for today. I'm getting these cracks a little better. Getting that white out of there that I can. Just stain it a color of brown for now. And call it a win. So if you like what we're doing here on the channel, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment, share it with a friend. Go to the miniature and buy our website and buy some miniatures. Yes, these miniatures. I get to say it. These miniatures. Usually I'm like pointing at some shit I threw together going, not these miniatures. Then pulling out a DungeonSwag miniature. This is a DungeonSwag miniature. This was the December box. It is still not too late to get a December box, but you will not get it right away. It will take a few days to get there because of Christmas orders and stuff. It might get there by Christmas, but I can't promise that. This is the December DungeonSwag mystery box that you would have got if you were a regular subscriber. If you subscribe now, I believe he is giving you the option to get last month's or this month's as your first one and, get recharged. It's up to you guys. He's being pretty, if you get on Discord and talk to Asco, I don't handle a lot of that stuff. I do this kind of stuff. But if you talk to Asco, he'll give you some options, I think. Just kind of tell him what you're trying to do. And then get on Discord and say, hey, Asco, we want to have this as a one-off purchase. And I bet you he'll give in and force us to come up with a way to make that price point work. So there it is. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Part 2, and we'll paint on this guy some more. I think we can get this done in 2 or 3 parts. Maybe. We'll see. Thanks for watching.